Man, fresh off the motherfucking clock, out this hot ass warehouse, but I'm here. Still Mills was the Dizzle, man. Yo, peep game though. I was listening to my man DT3, the Boom Man. Shout out to him. He had a real dope panel. His last podcast from, what was that, yesterday or so. It's these new cats that I heard on this podcast named The Boxing Source and Sheldon, man. Them cats and Lady Shan. I'm already subscribed to her channel, man. I love her analysis and her expertise on the sport, but them two cats have really dope analysis and expertise on the sport, man. So they're most definitely some cats that I'm gonna be looking to get into. But Sheldon said something that I was like, yo, I gotta speak on that, man. And he thinks Nakatani is gonna be able to stop Vasily Lomachenko, man. And he cited a few fights before with Pedraza and Luke Campbell and Jorge Linares or whatever. Like, he's a small 35 pounder and this and that and the third, which you have a point, but I think people are really, I don't think people really picked apart what transpired in that Lomachenko and Lopez fight, man. Despite one thing we got to remember, right? Vasily Lomachenko is a small 35 pounder, but Lopez is one of the biggest 35 pounders. He's looked at as a big 35 pounder, probably the biggest, with at the very least welterweight power. At the very least, this dude could possibly end up at 54. You dig? So I think people are really looking at the inactivity of Vasily Lomachenko early on in that fight. First off, Nakatani isn't as brolic as a Vasily Lomachenko. He's lengthy, and Lomachenko has fought lengthy fighters before, man. Pedraza is a lengthy dude. He's 5'10". Nakatani's what, 5'11"? Luke Campbell's 5'9". He's fought lengthy, rangy dude before. But I think where people are getting it confused at is how he did against Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is a brolic 135 pounder. And it wasn't like I don't recall Lomachenko being hurt at 100 in that fight, anywhere in that fight. I seen it as respect. He respected the fuck and respected too much Teofimo's power and his size and his strength. He respected it. He respected it, and I think he expected him to eventually gas. And I think that was his game plan, to get him to gas just slightly. And as he started to fade later on in the fight, really take the fight to him. But the thing is, he didn't gas. He didn't gas. He stayed composed, and Lomachenko had no other choice but to fight him. He had no other choice. But I think people are really, I think people are really looking at that fight from, as Ring IQ Boxing says, rose-tinted lenses, man. Because later in that fight, Lomachenko was put in the hands of God on Lopez. When he started opening up, and that's another thing that we're saying, he's not necessarily the matrix that he was at, 30 and 26, which is cool. Cool. You want to be pushed. You want to be pushed, because if it gets to a point where everybody in your division is just, they can't do anything with you, they're quitting on the stool, yeah, all right, maybe you do need to move up and get, what I'm saying, so you can meet some sort of resistance. So no, he's not he's not Houdini like he was, but he's still very much so Houdini. He was still very much so Houdini against Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares, as I said before, just had the boxing IQ to hinder those angles. And he still got him up out the paint. So you want him to be pushed, but I think people are really just hell-bent on the fact that Lopez beating, that everybody is just, I think everybody is exaggerating that victory. Everybody is exaggerating that victory, man, because I went back and I watched that fight again, and I had it scored the same, with the 6th round being a swing round. I'm like, he was still, he was cutting those angles on Lopez, but Lopez just had intelligent enough feet to pivot out with him. But after the 6th round, when he started throwing off of it, like I said, Lomachenko wants to get in position before he sees where he. Let me get into position first and let me see how you respond to me getting in position before I start punishing you with the combinations. And that's what he was doing. That's what he does. But he just couldn't do that comfortably with Teofimo Lopez, because Teofimo Lopez, he studied this dude for years. I'm gonna spin out with you, and he did it early on. Okay. He still had a very good defense. He had a really tight guard. Those shots were not landing on Lomachenko as flush as people would like to think. He was just getting outworked. That's it. They were trying to count uppercuts in favor of Teofimo, and they just simply weren't landing. And people really disregard what happened from round 7 to 11. Lomachenko was hitting that man flush. When he would initiate the exchanges and wouldn't come down straight on the line, just punch off the angles, oh yes. When he started pumping behind the jab, when Teofimo would tie him up and Lomachenko would still be swinging in the clinch, turning it into a fight, yes. He was going to work on Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez would be looking for the ref to break up the clinch, and Lomachenko was still swinging and clipping and popping his man in his head. He was in there fighting. He turned that shit into a fight later on in the fight. Nakatani does not have the physical advantages outside of height. Like, Teofimo is more brolic than Nakatani. He's more brolic. So if he said that Nakatani should go in there and look to run him over. Nakatani is going to set himself up. If Nakatani gets anywhere within striking distance of Teofimo Lopez, he's putting himself at a disadvantage. Because I haven't seen the competent footwork of a Nakatani, man. You saw what Verdejo was doing to Nakatani. Fuck Verdejo, by the way. You dig? And I was rooting for that motherfucker. But, you can't. We ain't even gonna get into all that. But Nakatani doesn't have the feet of a Teofimo Lopez. He's gonna be there to be hit if he doesn't stay behind that stick. He can't look to go in there and press the action with a Teofimo Lopez. He's going to get spun around like a fucking bachata dancer. What makes y'all think Lomachenko is not capable of cutting these angles that he's known for? If Nakatani does not work behind that jab, he is going to get stopped. I'm telling you. He is going to get stopped. Lomachenko doesn't gas. He has a very good tank. He has a very good gas tank. And due to the fact that he wants to get that back, he wants another shot at Teofimo Lopez. And I think they may be trying to set that up, trying to see how he gave, because, Nakatani gave Lopez his his toughest fight. So let's gauge you against Nakatani. Let's gauge you. All right, cool. Me personally, I think he's going to stop Nakatani. If not stopping, brutally beat on this dude. You dig what I think? He's gonna crash Nakatani, man, something like viciously. Because I think after even speedy fighters, as good as feet is good. I think Teofimo had good feet because of how he trained himself to educate his feet well enough to be able to deal with Lomachenko. Because he's been on Lomachenko's ass for some years. No, he studied that man. He said he spins out to one way every time. He was more than ready to deal with that shit early on in the fight. But when he started putting combinations together off of those angles, Teofimo looked lost. Like, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting this. I'm not mad at anybody for saying that Teofimo won that fight. I'm not. I get it. I personally had it a draw. But I'm not going to argue with nobody who says, oh, man, Teofimo won the fight. I'm going to argue with you if you say he got outboxed. I'm going to argue with you if you said it was a blowout or he beat Lomachenko's ass. Oh, yeah, now I'm going to challenge you. But I'm not mad at anybody who thought that Teofimo won that fight. But I think people are looking at that fight, you dig what I'm saying, with sunglasses on. And if Nakatani goes in there and executes the same game plan he did against Felix Verdejo, he's going to get stopped. he game planned a lot better against Teofimo Lopez behind that stick. He game planned a hell of a lot better. Pumping the jab, staying outside. Leading with the right hand from the outside, making it hell for Teofimo to get on the inside. Teofimo does not have the footwork. He's not as fleet-footed as Lomachenko. He has good defense. But I think Lomachenko is better defensively. I do. I think Lomachenko is the sharper counterpuncher. I do. I think Teofimo has more of an arsenal of counterpunching, but I think Lomachenko is the sharper counterpuncher. So for Nakatani to go in there and just kind of meet him in the middle, stand in front of him, chin up in the air, he's you know, y'all may as well write that man. I ain't gonna say that because that's kind of cynical, but y'all may as well go on ahead and put another L in his loss section. Nakatani got that knockout against Felix Verdejo bitch ass because he went in there head hunting and gassed himself out looking for a knockout. He got knocked down off of a jab. I'm talking, this jab looked like a Golovkin jab. That man's legs was that gone. That man bounced off the ropes and fell to the canvas off a jab, a Nakatani jab. That was due to Felix Verdejo going for the kill. Y'all really got Lomachenko fucked up thinking that he about to go in here and get stopped and brutalized by Nakatani. And I dig Nakatani. I think Nakatani is dope. These Japanese fighters are dope. Him and Inoue, these dudes are nice. And for him to come over here and get a name off of giving Teofimo the toughest fight that he's had thus far, to a point where niggas was saying, man, he exposed, you know, Teofimo. Actually, I don't think it was the toughest fight, because I think Lomachenko was his toughest fight. Because he didn't look as lost as he did. He got hit a lot more. He got hit with Nakatani due to his height over Loma. I think with Lomachenko had him looking like a deer in the headlights. Nakatani was able to hit him because he stayed, you know, he stuck to the game plan. Lomachenko had that man looking like, yo, what the fuck? Where did this shit come from? How come he wasn't doing it? I thought I had to. By the time you get into the mid-round, you have your opponent figured out to a lesser degree. You have your opponent somewhat figured out. So when Lomachenko went in there and started opening up on combinations, punching off of angles, fighting his way out of the clinch, not waiting on the ref to break up the clinch, that shit was a shell shock to, like, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from? And he legitimately looked like a deer in the headlights. Lomachenko was his toughest fight. Nakatani hit him a lot more than usual because he stuck to the game plan. But I still think that Nakatani lost that fight. I don't think it's up for dispute that Nakatani won that fight. I think he lost clearly. So don't sit here and tell me that Nakatani is gonna be able to do that shit to Lomachenko because Lomachenko is a smaller fighter. Nah. He's a shorter dude, yeah. But his skill set is what sets him apart from these bigger niggas that he fights. Nakatani is not gonna be able to go in there and meet him in the middle and just run over him. He is setting himself up for failure if he does that. He is setting himself up for failure. He's gonna have enough problems dealing with Lomachenko even if he does pump the jab and lead with his straight shots. He's gonna have a problem. He's gonna have his hands full with Lomachenko off of the straight shots alone. Lomachenko is not gonna be as worried about his Nakatani's power as he was with fucking Teofimo Lopez, because he doesn't have that pop. He doesn't have that brawn. He's not a bulldog in there. It's not just the pop with Teofimo Lopez. Otherwise, he'd have went in there and blew him out of the water. It's the skill set on top of the pop. It's the skill set on top of the size. Nakatani has the height, and he has the skill to make it a good fight. But he's not going to be able to go in there and do what Teofimo did to Lomachenko. Lomachenko is not going inactive for fucking 6 rounds against a Nakatani. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He does not have that type of presence in the ring that will command Lomachenko's respect. He's not that dude. Y'all are not about to sit here and tell me Nakatani is going to go here and run over Lomachenko. It is not. Y'all are really disrespecting Vasily Lomachenko right now. Y'all about to get this nigga fucked all the way up. Y'all about to get this man hurt. He's about to, I'm telling you, he's gonna outline Nakatani's gloves in chalk on Saturday. I'm telling you that. If I was a betting man, I'd put money on it. I would put money on it. Nakatani is nice. Nakatani is nice. But he's not gonna be able to. Nah, he's not keeping Lomachenko at the mercy of that walking stick. He's not. He's not. It will not happen. And I'm willing to bet that. I'm willing to bet that. Y'all gonna stop sleeping on my man Lomachenko. He has been gassed. Yeah, I can most definitely admit that. He has been gassed. He has most definitely been gassed. He has most definitely been gassed. They did put that man on a pedestal. They did. Nonetheless, he is an incredible fighter. He is an incredible fighter. And deserves all of the admiration that he gets. Outside of him being the best since, Muhammad Ali. You dig? Like, I think, that's what people, that's where the feathers get ruffled at. But we're not about to sit here and act like he's just this, a hype job, as people like to say. With the resume that he has. 14 plus, 2 and 3 fights, you already fighting for a world title. And you hold on to that title. You relinquish them titles and you move up. And you still get busy. Y'all about to stop playing with Lomachenko, bro. Y'all about to stop playing with Loma. Because I'm telling you, Saturday, man. I said what I said. You call me what the fuck you want. Y'all, that nigga brazy. He ain't gonna be able to do that to Nakatani. Nakatani is not Teofimo Lopez. Nakatani wasn't able to do. He doesn't have the skill. I said what I said. He's going to stop Nakatani. Mark it down. I said that shit. I don't fuck with that. And I argue with anybody, debate anybody, and tell them come holler at me. Let me know what y'all think. Peace.